Welcome back to the SPF Weekly Recap for the first week of the bracket stage. The top 8 regular season qualifiers battled it out in the upper bracket as they made their bid for the championship in the first week of playoffs. Match 1 featured the undefeated Moran Prairie Go-Goats facing off against the 8-seeded Dallas Dunspars and looking to blaze a trail straight to the finals. In Game 1, Fake Out kept Grimmsnarl busy as Typhlosion traded its life for a massive eruption onto both opponents. Aquajet Bruxish complemented Weavile's natural speed on turn 2, as Crocodile and Grimmsnarl both went down uncontested. Despite Terra Steel from Iron Valiant allowing it to ignore Weavile's Poison Jab and take down Bruxish on turn 3, the combination of fast foul play and extreme speed, along with the defensive power of Terra Poison, meant the Go-Goats could wrap up Game 1 with room to spare. In Game 2, Hyper Offense won the day, as the 1-2 punch of Aquajet and Choice Scarf Terra Fire Eruption proved too powerful to overcome, and the Dunspars dropped in 3 quick turns, leading to a victory for the Go-Goats and continuing their impressive undefeated streak going into the next round. In our second match, the reigning champion Rose City Roserades took on the Ducklet Defenders in the 4-5 match that looked on paper to be the closest matchup in the opening rounds. On turn 1, Fake Out from Salazzle stuffed Tinkaton's Terra Ground attempt, and a weakened U-turn from Urshifu allowed Gyarados a chance for a terrifying Dragon Dance. Finding himself reliant on Rotom Moe's positive type matchup to handle a now boosted Gyarados, Coach Flaccid Panda targeted Salazzle with Tinkaton while a Protect kept Rotom healthy from a double target. But Focus Sash would put a damper on the play, leaving room for Coach Scoutflower to repeat the play on turn 3, knocking out Rotom with a combination of Terra Blast and Flamethrower. A one-hit knockout onto Urshifu sealed the game in the next turn, as the defenders drowned in the Lake of Rage and threw in the White Towel on Game 1. In Game 2, Tornadus took Tinkaton's place on turn 1, flinching to Fake Out once again. This time, however, Urshifu's U-turn would pay off, as it broke Focus Sash and a pivot to Tinkaton easily handled Gyarados' Terra-Flying Terra Blast. Showing the resilience of Prankster Tailwind, Tornadus easily set up a speed boost on turn 2, allowing Tinkaton to fire off a parting blow onto Gyarados as it fell to Salazzle's Flamethrower. With 3 turns of Tailwind to play with and full health, Rotom Moe looked poised to take over, but Tinglu slowed things down thanks to its ground typing and Vessel of Ruin. A brave Dragon Dance between turns of Protect, and Salazzle's lucky evasion of Bleak Windstorm and Leaf Storm on the turn it switched in put the Roserades back in the driver's seat. But a double Protect meant Fake Out wouldn't stop Tailwind again, and Gyarados fell as Tornadus was locked in with Encore. Decisive targeting from Electros brought Urshifu into the danger zone on the following turn, and with Rotom's special attack drops being permanent now that there were no switches remaining, Coach Flaccid Panda would forfeit once again, handing the victory to the Roserades in this round and making their way to the lower bracket. An SPF Classic graced the battlefield in our third match this week, as the South Hill Skinwalkers took on the BC Beyond for the first time this season. Things looked normal on turn 1, as Double Intimidate kept Basculegion from finishing off Arcanine despite its 4x weakness to water, and Rock Slide and Thunderbolt took it out in return. But we had no idea what we were in for, as Sliggoo raised its defense with Acid Armor. After Jumpluff gave its life for Pollen Puff, allowing Sliggoo to finish off Arcanine, Qianpao was unceremoniously put down by Luxray's Double Kick, leaving the snail alone against 3 Pokemon. But if you thought it was over now, you couldn't be more wrong, as the revelation of Rest and Sleep Talk on turn 11 made the comeback a very real possibility. Safe from crits behind Shell Armor, and unfazed by any offense the opposition could muster, Coach BMM rolled the dice of Sleep Talk RNG, hoping for good target selection with Acid Spray. But thanks to the ability to switch and reset special defense drops, along with Wo-Chien's Pollen Puff, the Skinwalkers barely managed to run Sliggoo out of Rest PP, and 45 turns later, it finally bowed out after a Herculean effort. Now with a clear path to victory, the Beyond used the duo of Pelipper's Surf and Clodsire's Earthquake to clear out Kleavor and Sableye in Game 2, leaving Sliggoo uncontested, and without the ability to reset stat drops, Arcanine and Girafarig were unable to break through and were dispatched by the unkillable Demon Snail. In Game 3, Clear Amulet Qianpao called out Extreme Speed with a Terrestrialization to the Ghost type, but almost sent Sliggoo to an early grave, as Sword of Ruin allowed Luxray to deal over 50% in a single turn. But by removing the defense drop with a switch to Clodsire and backing up Acid Armor with Rest, Sliggoo returned to full health and closed the window on its vulnerability, ascending to unkillable status once again. Lacking the salt for a runback of Game 1, Coach Beach was slowly strangled by acid spray and poison damage, with Cleavor eventually falling to Sucker Punch at the beginning of Sliggoo's 80th turn on the battlefield in just 3 games. And finally, match number 4, the Vancouver Villains took on Tornadus' Team Preview Truthers for the final spot in the next round, in a throwback to a simpler time when Dondozo was the talk of the town. The Truthers gained a massive advantage on turn 1, when incredibly, Volcarona survived the 4-time super effective Power Gem from Fluttermane, striking back with Heat Wave and Wild Charge and eliminating the Paradox problem outright. Choice Scarf Great Tusk would pick up a double KO with Rock Slide, but the villain still had a huge mountain to climb, as Dondozo and Tatsugiri assembled the Commander combo. Fighting through doubled stats, Overquill's Intimidate was rendered useless thanks to the slightly less common ability choice of Oblivious. Things look hopeful as Haze evaded Protect and brought Dondozo back down to Earth, but Great Tusk would fall to a wave crash, and Overquill didn't have enough juice left in the tank to take down Tatsugiri when the dust settled. In Game 2, an alternative lead of Floatzel and Great Tusk played right into the hands of Terra Water Volcarona, and all damage progress was reset when Volcarona picked up a massive heal and a knockout with Giga Drain. Fluttermane and Overquill managed to take it down with a clever combination of Hex and Poison, but by now the damage was done, and nothing could stand in the way of Dondozo boosted with Tatsugiri's Commander, as it took down Overquill and shrugged off Floatzel's Wave Crash on the way to cementing a 2-0 victory for the Truthers. Thanks as always for watching the SPF Weekly Recap for the first week of the bracket. What was your favorite match this week? Let me know in the comments down below, and tune in next week as the lower bracket hopefuls fight for their tournament lives in the first week of eliminations.